Okay, to round out this series, we're going to add a share link to our stack. That gives the end user the ability to share that between friends real easily. It's like a one-click copy. That'll involve some Stimulus.js as well as just modifying our stack model a little bit so that when you do create a stack, it creates a unique ID to the stack. If you remember in our schema on the stack, we have a share link attribute right here. And what I'm going to do is essentially make a callback in our model that is responsible for adding that automatically when a new stack is created. So each time a new one is created by someone, there'll be a dedicated URL that's basically its own. So let's go ahead and say before create, we'll say generate unique share link. And then we'll have a method for that below. It'll say def generate unique share link, and we want this to be unique anytime the app is responsible for adding it. So we don't want it to repeat itself, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. So we'll loop through this just to make sure that is the case. So we'll say self.share link equals generate random string. It's another method we'll add, and we'll say break unless stack exists, and then share link will be the share link. You can do this all in the model using the shorthand syntax because it's all relative to the class. So we're able to hook into that, which is pretty nifty. Now let's add that generate method. We'll add that below, and it'll be just a secure random URL safe base 64. And that generates a huge string, but we only want the first 6 characters of it. So that's a way to kind of make that a little more unique. You can make this as long as you want. I just wanted to keep the URLs pretty short. So that's one way to consider it. Okay, and then in our stacks controller, we want to update how we're going to find that, because if that has a unique ID, and first let's probably need to make our stacks. That's on create, so maybe I'll just call that method independently. So we'll say stack find each do stack. I'm going to do this in the command line. Say stack dot generate unique share link end. So if we go and say stack dot all, oh, it didn't do it. Okay. Oh, you know why? Because I didn't save when I did it. So let's do, let's do this again. There. So stack dot all. There we go. So now we have the share link IDs associated with these. I don't have to go delete these and create new ones. Great. Okay. With that out of the way, I will go and update our routing. And that will be to include a param, which allows us to actually find our share link via that attribute or that column. So it looks like this. One thing I forgot actually I wanted to do, we'll add it here too, is to add a remove thumbnail method. So you could actually remove it if you want to after you've added it. I don't think I've ever gone over that. So, and we'll say on member. You can also write that as member do, and then that get. I've seen that either which way there. So we'll keep that. And then let's do the routing real quick, or the stack stuff real quick, just so it's donezo. We'll want to, in the private method, do a little more fancy finding. So we've got our stack traditional find method. And this is going to be contrarian, I guess, because it needs to do find by, and then we'll actually need to pass an instance of ID. But we'll also need to do stack.findBy share link, and then params share link. And don't forget to do this in your products controller too. Notice we were trying to find, this can be an or statement. So we want to find by either. I'm going to make this wider so I think that's correct. So find by share a link, param share link, and then find by ID, params ID. Actually, it might work like this, because since we set the param to always be share link, now it's going to assume that. So we'll find by ID in this way. So I know that's confusing, but let me show you an example when we go to our view. I'm going to set this to the same thing. So now we go to stack, we can go to the view, we get our 3. If we want to find Rails console, we'll do stack.find3. Stack, I'll get this and append it to the URL, see if it pulls itself up. With any luck, we'll see the same thing, and we do. Great. So this is the shareable link, and you can, make those whatever you want if you want them to be longer. So with that done, now we can update our view. So I'll go to the stack show view, and here's that comment I added before. So let's do a little bit of update to that. So it'll be a link. It won't really link to anything, but we'll just style it as such. Button white, rounded full. The button styles are pre-baked into Rails UI, so you'll want to add those on your own if you don't see those. Okay, and let's just get the icon. Again, this helper method's baked into Rails UI too, so probably easier to use that following this, but you can go the other way if you want to. Okay, this should at least render the little clickable element. You notice in my inspect, there's nothing really there to link to as far as the actual link. So let's do that next with I'm going to make a clipboard controller. So when we click on this, I want it to copy to our clipboard and copy the actual stack share link. So we'll get that next. So I'll say data controller. I'm going to add a controller for Stimulus called Clipboard. And then data clipboard text. That's part of the clipboard library. If you just pass that data attribute, it knows to copy that text. So we'll pass in our stack URL, which is a new helper we have thanks to our routing. Or no, it's not actually, but we can pass in our share link instead of our stack ID in this case. And if you look in the inspect element on that, you'll see that in the clipboard text data attribute now. So great. Let's create our actual Stimulus controller. I'll do Rails generate Stimulus clipboard. It should go ahead and update our manifest and add that file to our JavaScript folder. So see it here, and it actually added it to the import statement here automatically. Where is it? Right here. Pretty cool. There's some stuff there from Rails UI that came stock. So if you see more, that's why. And that's how we connect to it. We use that data attribute clipboard. One more thing we'll need is 2 dependencies from the Yarn repos stuff. So Yarn add Clipboard and Tippy.js. The Tippy thing is just a little tooltip library that's, I think it should actually already be added, but we'll use it to present some feedback when you click on the link saying it was copied. So in our JavaScript file, we'll have a little bit of logic here, not too much, thanks to the library. We can pass some values if you want. So with Stimulus, you can pass values from the front end. So essentially like a value on here if you want to add some sort of custom success message. Not a big deal if you don't want to. I like to, this is one I've used before, so I'm just copying it over. Then in the connect statement, or lifecycle callback method is what the mouthful they call those, we'll set the clipboard equal to a new clipboard instance. This .element refers to the div your controller is set up on. So this particular element, since we have the controller mounted here, it's going to refer to this specifically in the HTML. No DOM querying, nothing. It's just done for you. And then if you want to do the success message stuff, which I guess we'll just do it, clipboard on success, do a callback to say this .tooltip, which is part of Tippy, this .success message, pass in the instance of that. Then we'll say on error, same thing. And below we'll do that tooltip setup. So tooltip. We need to import these things. You're probably like, where is that even coming from, Andy? And I forgot to import them. So import Clipboard.js from clipboard, and then import Tippy. Tippy.js. There we go. Now we have those in our arsenal. This .element with the callback of options, we'll pass in the content of the message, which is coming through the Tippy or tooltip function there. Show on create is the main reason I want to do Tippy, because it will show this when that's initialized, which is what we're doing above. And then on hidden, we can pass the instance through and say instance destroy each time. So it's just like perform it. Finally on, we can set type string and then default to copied. Thinking about doing a Stimulus course. We'll see though. I think it would be pretty cool. I like Stimulus a lot. See if this works. We get something, which is good. It didn't really say. Cool. So that works. One thing we need to do is definitely on clicking on this, let's make it a button. I don't think the link is a good idea because it's trying to do its default logic, which we don't want. So we'll keep that as is. There we go. So now we have that link. If I go into a new tab, I can paste that in. It should pull it up. And the beautiful thing is I could do this now on a incognito tab and people can still see it because it's not required to log in. This will redirect you. I think this might too. Yeah. So it looks like you can do stuff, but you can't. Haha. Okay. I've been recording too long. Sorry if you made it this far. So there's our copying link. We've got that ready to rock and roll. That might be better suited to like make way more obvious. Like on PC Part Picker, my kind of inspiration for this, they make that link front and center. So I think I had completed builds. Here's someone's build. Here's their link. Like it's like just, you know, ready to rock and roll. This is a terrible looking design though of the page. But links, counters, that'd be cool. Have comments on the links, you know. A lot of cool little capabilities of an app like that. I think that wraps up everything that I wanted to get through. That covers the shareability of it. And then hopefully you learned a thing or two from this. We used web scraping for the first time, which was fun. I've used that on other apps I've built sparingly, nothing too crazy. There are better probably libraries to use for it, maybe Node stuff or something with JavaScript, since browsers are built with that mostly instead of the Ruby side, but Ruby is my first love. So coming up, there'll be more like this. My goal is to maybe pump out a lot more than I've been doing. Maybe put out some mini courses, additional Let's Builds that are more on the premium side. So some will be, you know, partially free to watch, but you continue. I'll put them for sale on the site, and maybe some courses on other stuff related to Rails if that's of any interest. So look for that to come. These take a ton of time and effort to make, so I'd appreciate if you could share or like with your friends, whatever you can do to, you know, put it out there. It would mean a ton. And also, I can't go without saying, go check out Rails UI. That's my new side project. All right. Thanks for watching. Peace.